What's good? Welcome to First Stream Podcast presented by BetRivers. On today's episode of First Stream Podcast, we are joined by the one and only CWall, Candy Waller from CWall Sports. Hey, make sure you like and subscribe to the First Stream Podcast. We are going to get right into this thing. Let's go.
Artlist.io.
Welcome back to First Stream Podcast presented by BetRivers. Make sure you like and subscribe to the First Stream Podcast. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to chat with us, like and subscribe to the First Stream Podcast. Again, let's get the squad in here. Sam, what's good, man? How are you?
What's going on, man? What's going on?
Hey, we good. We chilling. Hey, how you feeling, sir?
Man, I'm still atop of the leaderboard, man. So I'm feeling good. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was talking tough. You know what I'm saying? Lady A, you was talking tough. I saw your comments on the last show.
Let's go, Lady A.
Hey, I'm coming for you, Aunt. I'm creeping up.
No, you ain't.
I'm creeping up. I'm trying to tell you.
Hey, Aunt, watch this. Hey, say, do you like to go fishing? Let's reel him in, baby. Let's reel him in. And let's get Miss CWall in the building. How are you?
Hey, everybody. I'm doing well. How y'all doing?
We
Good.
It was so nice the first time. We had to do it twice. We got to bring you back. We got to find out what's going on. So I know that today literally is like, we back into the regular season mode where the players get out and service the community, right? They literally is like, we back. Okay, we good. All right, so they get out, they service the community. But what do you have for us today?
I mean, it's week one. It's week one. It's time to go to work. I mean, I don't even know, hey. It kind of is, I have to admit, I was talking to my photographer today, and I'll just be real honest. I was like, Jarrell, I don't know what we're about to see. I think it's very important. And one of the things that I've been sharing on shows, and I may have shared it on you all show before when you had me on previously, and thank you for having me again, is that week one, it's not an easy game. There's no such thing as an easy win in the NFL. And there's so many storylines associated with week one that I'm already like, oh, what's going to be the lead topic? Doug Peterson, head coach now of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He knows Carson Wentz
right
very well, extremely well, right? Then going against Jacksonville, that anyone can say that's the team that got Carson Wentz traded. Then there's the storyline that let's not forget. There's so many questions about the defensive line. Oh, by the way, they got Brandon Sheriff over there on that offensive line. So you're going to get to see some action right there. I'm here to tell you, that's what I cannot wait to watch come on Sunday. So, and they've beefed up that offensive line too, to do what? Protect Trevor Lawrence. Okay, everybody? Yeah. They got Trevor Lawrence over there, okay? So there's so many storylines that I'm like, I don't know. I hope the weather's going to be nice. Like that's
right. You're right.
The energy is right, though. Media can only be in the first 20 or so minutes of practice. So that's when a lot of the position drills are going on during the season. We're not able to watch the entire practice, but I think the energy is set. It's week one. It's time to get with it.
That's interesting. Right. That's interesting.
Yeah. Let's get to some news. Well, news came out yesterday that Ryan Kerrigan is officially been named assistant D-line coach. The guys seem to respect him. They played with him. He's been in that locker room with them. I heard somebody ask, "Hey, you get to make these guys do up downs now." He's like, no, that's really not me. But the guys have to pretty much respect him because he's done it before and he's a coach now, and he can get the best out of them. He has to concentrate on all of them as a whole. And Coach Scanina and Kerrigan, they got a tough job this year because the teams that we have to face are a lot of run-heavy defense. And if y'all remember 2 years ago, our run defense sucked. Now, we're not playing quarterback-heavy teams this year, but our run defense has got to do something better than what they've been doing. So they do have a tough job ahead of them. And how do you feel about that?
I mean, I will say this. One of the things that I think the fan base has been wanting to see is a former player be a coach. So whether or not everyone is paying attention to that aspect, I think this was a decision, not just from the football perspective, but I think it was a business decision as well. Ryan Kerrigan, absolutely, of course, joining the 90 greatest.
Right.
We know that he'll be in the ring of fame as well. And so, I mean, he's a franchise sack leader. I mean, he's just a good vibe to be around for the squad. Right. He is well respected as a veteran in the league. He's well respected by the team who kind of came up with Kerrigan as, he was like their big brother and a mentor to them when he was on the team as well and when folks were getting drafted. So I think overall that is a good, you want to see that. I hope fans are happy with that move. And I also think that Ryan is happy with that move. I mean, he wanted to retire in the burgundy and gold.
Mm-hmm.
So this is someone who has a vested interest and a genuine love for the organization. This isn't somebody that's kind of, not to say that it's bad to hop around or be with different teams. This is someone that has a different kind of camaraderie and connection to the team, having worn the burgundy and gold. So I think that this is exactly what fans have been saying they wanted. A coach that was a former player of the team. That's what you got. And I think it's going to work. I think it's going to work. Yes, they have a very tough job. But I think the combination with both Coach Zanina and I be calling him Coach Jeff because I messed his last
Coach
name.
Jeff, yeah.
So and with Ryan, Coach Kerrigan now, Coach Kerrigan, being both former players, I think this is a good thing for this defensive line that has to show up and be who they are on paper this year.
Janet. Lady A.
No problem. Actually, I couldn't have said it better than CWall. Ryan, I'm sorry, like you said, Coach Kerrigan, he is really, like, the community loves him. The players love him. He knows his stuff. He knows the team. He knows the plays. Like, he's vested, It's nothing like going home to work. Of course, like I just told you guys, last week I left. My daughter was graduating college, and what does she want to do? She's in Florida, but now she wants to come home to work. There's nothing like it. When you have someone like Ryan Kerrigan, he wasn't just a on the practice squad. He's well, like CWall said, he's well respected. He has his roots here. He even years ago, I've even seen him on Tackle My Ride, the little show where they, redo a super fans ride. He was on there. So it's like, we love him. There's nobody better that you could have chosen for this position. So I'm pleased. I'm excited to see what he's going to do and the chemistry that he has with the players already, to see what comes about from that.
Say it.
Ryan Kerrigan becoming a coach, I mean, it can be a good thing for the team. The simple fact that he knows the scheme, he knows what they're trying to do, and he knows those guys personally. The only difference now, he's a coach. Now, can he make the transition and say, okay, I need this from you, I need this from you, I need this from you? I can see what's going on from the sideline. I was in the trench, which I know what you need to do. Listen to me for a second. Do this. Can he get them to respond on that level? If he can get to respond on that level, they may have a gem in the making right there. There's nowhere to put it. When you got somebody who's on the sideline, who's in the trenches with you, now it's helping you coach. You know, does he have enough of the ear for them to apply what he's trying to tell them at the same time?
Yeah, and
well, you know, to quote the late great, whatever his name was in that movie, his mama call him Ryan, I'm gonna call him Ryan. You know what I'm saying?
that was Eddie Murphy. That was Eddie Murphy.
Nah, listen, I think as we know, it's not just that a player becomes a coach, it's the type of player that they were. Like all of you have pretty much said, one of the greats to ever put on a jersey for the Commanders. You know, I think they've done it the right way because you don't want them to be so far removed that they kind of don't have the pulse of the team. You know what I'm saying? But not so fresh that it was like they were kind of forced to be in there. Like, you know, the guys that are 2 years in were learning from him just a few years ago. So it's kind of an easier transition in that regard. Kind of like what some of us were wanting when Jason left for Witten to be able to, you know, coach those tight ends up.
He gonna work it back around to the Cowboys, ain't he?
No, I'm being serious though. Like I'm saying y'all got it right where we didn't. You know, that would have been a great transition. But then again, he also didn't want to be done playing. So, you know, as we know, Kerrigan was pretty much saying, hey, I can't do it anymore at the level that I want to. So I can respect that as well. So, you know, all jokes aside, I think this is the way that you do it. And I don't know if it necessarily translates to getting something extra out of them, but it could help them be consistent as they need to be. So
before we get off of this, the defensive line side of the ball, and we are at 12 minutes. We got one pick for y'all tonight. We are going to hit that Buffalo Bills Rams game real fast at the 15-minute mark. But before we get off of this, and we're going to get to this in a minute, the Commanders released the unofficial depth chart. And what I'm noticing here, and what Lady A noticed too, is we can only go 3 deep at one position. That's on the defensive line. We're a little thin. I mean, we're missing some folks here. This is ridiculous. Yes, we do have, Chase Young, and Chase is listed as a starter. We know he's not going to be able to play the first 4 games. But did only one person have a voice when it came to this roster on the defensive side? Only the defensive line coach? Because linebackers are thin, secondary's thin. And last time I checked, a lot of people get cramps, Charlie horses, and things like that in the first part of the games because it's still hot. Now DBs are running 1,000 yards, 1,000 miles in one game. Defensive linemen are rotating left and right. This is, I'm going to say it the way it is. It's backwards ass right now.
And it's in Jacksonville?
No, we're playing in Washington.
Okay.
Well, in Maryland.
So that's
did y'all notice this too, Candy?
Oh yeah, I mean, the depth has been something that's a concern. I mean, it got 16, 17 or so players on the practice squad. So if something goes down, I mean, but one of the things that Coach Rivera likes to do is ensure he has players that can play multiple positions. So if someone has to, in the absolute worst case scenario that someone gets injured and cannot return to the game, he would have to, they'll have to switch some things out and use a player from another position to play that role. I think it's been something that we've been discussing for a while now in the media room. It's just the depth. It's just thin. Aside from the defensive line, I was really concerned about the depth at defensive back.
Right.
It's like barely any.
Right.
So, I mean, we don't know. I mean, they definitely have some players that can come up from the practice squad if need be, right? But hey, once it's time to suit up, you gotta have your roster in. What is it, by 11, by noon, something? But you can't just call somebody up from the practice squad and be like, "Come on, let's go."
Right.
But it's a few players that they have that, if need be, they could play different positions. Like I said, that is dire. That is worst case scenario. Of hope that doesn't happen. But they are very thin at defensive back, absolutely thin at linebacker.
Yeah.
At one point last week, was it last week? Everything is running together, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. They had like 2 people. I was like, well, what are you going to do? And so, I mean, of course, they got David Mayo and John Bostic back and all that. But hey,
it was terribly thin.
Athletic trainers, work your magic, because it will what you see is what you get.
Right.
Isn't this where all of the calm down, it's not week 1 yet stuff has to come to an end? Because all of the stuff that's been going on in the offseason, everything with the owner, everything with the defensive coordinator, getting rid of a guy, all of that stuff, you don't get to pay attention to what you need to be paying attention to in cultivating your roster when there's so much upheaval going on around you. I think that's a major cause for contention.
Excuse me. I'm running around saying the ship is on fire. Have you seen that Will Ferrell movie? Where they play basketball and he's in there with the bear and everybody panicked. That's me right now when I look at our secondary depth. Everybody panicked. Man,
is that a lack of free agency moves? Is that poor drafting in general? I know that y'all spend money on guys. Was it because a lot of more guys ended up on IR? Like, what is the reason for this when you look at it from a little broad perspective?
CWall's opinion, talking about myself in third person. Listen, Ron Rivera has showed us his hand for a while now. He really believed that they were just a quarterback away.
I heard a lot of people say that respectfully, CWall.
Yeah. And that's why you see the roster the way that it is. Because that's what he believes. And that's why I'm putting my money on Riverboat. Riverboat, if you
well, you know what? As I sit here looking at the roster, the depth chart, you guys are talking about how thin it is. I mean, it's a yes and no answer. At the same time, you need multiple offensive linemen. So either you're going to take away the multiple offensive linemen and put them on the defensive line, then the offensive line is short. So it's like a dang if you do, dang if you don't.
That's one spot that I'm not worried about.
Now, I don't know why y'all got 4 tight ends. I'm just saying. But, you can move a couple of those around and you can add more depth on the defensive line. Because,
well, the concern with that is
hold on. We gotta break this because we 3 minutes over on this right here. So we gotta get to this. And man, we're gonna stay there. So CWall, I hope you have more than an hour for us today, because I got a feeling this podcast is about to get real deep. All right. We got one pick for you tonight. Like I told you guys, we got the Thursday night football game coming up. And make sure you go to the BetRivers app or download the BetRivers or go to www.betrivers.com. Your first $250 will be matched up to 100% if you put in a code match or 250 match. So they'll match you $250. So that gives you $500. Because say it helped me do that math earlier because I ran out of toes. All right, so here we go. Oh no. Okay, so this is NFL, and so you're not leading this. Say to keep this
not
board,
yet.
so we're really not
yet. Just give me a week. Let me work. Work it, JT. Hey, work it, JT. Work it.
This is what we got right here. So we got the Buffalo Bills taking on or traveling from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast to face the defending Super Bowl champs, Los Angeles Rams. Maybe this should have been the Super Bowl. Who knows? But this is what we got to kick it off right here on Thursday. So right now on BetRivers, this is what it looks like. -2.5 for Buffalo at -110. Their win line is -134. And that just moved around a little bit. For the Rams, we have plus the 2.5 -110, and that is at +115 right now. It was at +118 earlier. The over-under still set at 52.5, and that's minus 120, minus 110 both ways. We just gonna go ladies first. CWall, if you want to get in this, you can. But if you can't, don't worry. Just let us know.
But it's okay.
Right, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Lady A. Lady
Okay.
A, on you.
I'm going with the Rams money line. I mean, Bill's a professional choke artist in my mind, but sorry, Bill fan.
Not in the regular season in week 1.
Hey.
There's something to it.
I know how I
There's
feel
something
about this.
to that, Lady A.
You can't hate on the choices.
The Bills are not it. They're not it. It is all about the Rams right now.
Did you
That's
say
what it
the
is.
Bills are professional what?
Choke artists.
I just wanted to make sure Bill Mafia heard you down.
They're gonna hate me. I know this. But there's no argument. You can't argue it. I mean, let's be real. What are they in the record books for?
They're gonna say, "Get the table."
Get the
What are they in the record books for? They're in the record books
losing 4 straight.
Thank you. So
losing 4 straight, yeah. But
there
when
you
you
have
face the
it.
NFC East, that's what happens, right? That's what happens.
Exactly.
And go ahead and get your 0-1.
They're known for being choke artists when it matters most, not week 1. That's the key differentiator right there.
Mm-hmm.
They got something to prove here, and we don't know if they're going to be able to connect the dots. The Rams, they high on life. A lot of these guys didn't start training until a couple weeks ago, if we being honest here. I seen what's the cornerback? What's the cornerback? I don't care what Bruce talking about. He's a hater. He's a hater. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, what's Jalen Ramsey? Jalen Ramsey hadn't worked out since the Super Bowl. These guys,
hurt.
No. He was chilling. These guys, guys get that Super Bowl and they start drinking the Kool-Aid. I think the Rams come out, catch them by surprise. Give me Bills money line and give me the over.
Screw the spread, huh? I got
you. Screw the spread.
All right, money line. Okay, and you like the over. Okay, say it.
Much like Ant said, the Rams are still celebrating their Super Bowl. Their starting quarterback came through a pass in 11-on-11 in 2 months. So he's going to come out in week 1 with all his speed flying at him around the corner, up and down. Offensive line is suspect. Them boys in trouble. One of the main defensive end that put all the pressure on is on the other side of the field at this point. So now they got monsters diving in from the corner, and then you got little James Cook from the university.
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
it's gonna be catching.
Hold on. I had to mute say it real quick.
It makes sense.
He gonna make sure a Bulldog gonna get in there every time. All right, sir, we can hear you again. Just tread lightly.
Where's he from? Say it.
I'm sorry.
Where's Cook from?
He's from Florida, but he went to the University of Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, he's from
Florida.
Flag
in the back. I got it.
We yanked him out of Florida. We sure did.
Okay.
Give me Bills money line. This is the first week. I don't like personally going over and under till I can see what they actually done, because a lot of these teams they played during preseason.
All right, so I had a conversation with my main man Ron, and he said, "Hey, Will, the way you stomp the crap out of Ant is just do straight bets." So I'm on you, Ant. I'm on you, right? This is where it gets real. This is where the rubber meets the road. Is the NFL. This is not college where you got a 32-point spread.
Oh, so now we talking down on college.
I'm just telling you right here, right now.
So when Ant starts leading the board, now this ain't college.
No,
this is the pros now. This is where we do it.
This is where the rubber meets the road, sir. Listen.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
The 2.5 points here is just a field goal, right? Give me the Bills. I'm going to lay the 2.5 points. You heard me right, sir. I'm not going money line. Give me the Bills. Lay in the 2.5 points, okay?
What's new?
Hey, and that's how Toothpick likes it right now.
Toothpick gonna lay a spread if he don't do that else.
Hey,
pause.
Smart bettors do what they do. All right. All right. So that's how we see it. Now, let me say hello to everybody in the chat. Bruce Glass, Drew, Sheepdogs in the chat, Gold Caps in the chat, Hawk. Man, we appreciate each and every one of y'all for dropping by. Kirby, man, I've been putting y'all stuff up there, and I apologize. Bruce Glass, congratulations. You are our top golf Winner, I told you to DM me. I think you did already, so that I can get you that Top Golf certificate. Go have a good one on us and enjoy it. We appreciate all the support that we get. Ron O'Neill's in the building. My man said Bills -2.5. I'm just trying to tell you, man, we coming to get you, and we're gonna do what we do. All right. So that's our pick for today, right? We'll get with you on Thursday. We've got 8 solid college picks for you, and then on Saturday we get to our NFL show, which we go straight in. So don't be late on that.
Man, we're going back to tight ends. Let's do it. All right.
Let's get into it. Let's get back to the Commanders. Okay.
So this is my thought process, right? I heard you guys talk about one of the areas where the talent was kind of rich was at the tight end position, right? Now it was a couple guys that were unproven, but talented nonetheless, especially with your main guy being out on injured reserve or whatever it was, on the PUP list or whatever. So I guess my question is that a mistake? Should you sacrifice two of those guys to be able to put yourself in a position to keep a couple more linemen, couple more, I don't know where y'all are going to find these guys at, because in my honest opinion, if these guys were good enough to make your roster, you wouldn't necessarily be pulling from the practice squad. They would make the 53. So, was that the right move by, in a position like Sid brought up, keeping 4 tight ends?
CWall, can I answer this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So the reason we kept 4 tight ends is because our number 1 tight end, Logan Thomas, had a cheap shot jumped in on him in the Raiders game, and he had off-season knee surgery. John Bates got hurt in the preseason. Cole Turner got hurt in the preseason, which gave Amani Rodgers, who was our 4th tight end, switched from the quarterback position to tight end, the ability to get on the field. And that young man showed out, right? He showed out. So that's why we have 4 tight ends. We should have Logan Thomas week 1. Not sure on John Bates or Cole Turner, but it looks like those 2 tight ends will most definitely be available on Sunday. Did I cover? Did I miss anything, C?
I mean, no, I think you covered it. And also, I would just add that Ron Rivera, again, he shows his hand. He wanted more weapons for Carson.
Yeah, he did.
That was a priority. That was the priority, because he is so sure they were just a quarterback away. Come on, Riverboat. So
now
let's go get.
Come on, Ron.
That's gonna get y'all bankrupt.
Listen, now I'm gonna tell you. Now one thing for sure is when Ron took over this team, we were talent deprived, right? And last year, you could see that we were still talent deprived, because if you double team Terry, Diami caught 12 passes, right? And then our next leading wide receiver after Terry was our back, J.D. McKissick. Once J.D. McKissick went down, the offense, it was J.D. McKissick, then Logan, and then Logan was hurt, then J.D. went down, and we were scrambling for offense. So you had to go out and get a really good wide receiver. That's why everybody was clamoring for a wide receiver. And with our first pick, we did the smart thing by trading back with New Orleans, letting them take Chris Olave and taking Jahan Dotson, which picked us up some more picks where we could go back and get a Brian Robinson and things like that. But at the same time, you held up a big sign in front of the NFL saying, I need a quarterback. Yep. When you do stuff like that, every NFL team takes advantage of you. And we got pimped by the Colts.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got pimped by the Colts. We had to eat $28 million, which means you had to lose Eric Flowers, and you lost. And I don't think they really, I can't say this, but I don't think they like Matt Ioannidis. Candy, you could speak to that one a little bit better.
They not it wasn't that, to my knowledge, at all. I think there was a miscommunication. Something happened.
Okay.
And there was some miscommunication that happened. I don't think it was anything like a dislike or anything of the sort. I think it was a genuine, honest miscommunication. Martin Mayhew came out publicly and shared that it was on him, and he apologized for that. And so, yeah, I think there was just a hiccup
A hiccup.
But they honestly knew that was a loss for the team, as well as Tim Settle was a loss too.
Tim Settle, yes.
So I think losing those two guys really hurt. So they went to replace them, which I think they did good from a depth perspective. But I want to go back to a point I think you may have made it earlier, Will, or maybe it was you, Ant, about how much the difference that depth looks like on the offensive side of the ball than it does on the defensive side of the ball. And I think that's where Riverboat is putting all his chips.
Yeah.
He was a quarterback away. Let's load up the offensive weapons. Let's hope get creative with what can happen offensively, and really try to outscore the opponent. That is what I have taken from it, from what I've seen during camp, as well as just looking at the depth chart, listening to what Coach Rivera is saying. He's a lot of faith in his defense. He has faith in his offense as well. But he talked about being just a quarterback away and needing to get Carson weapons. And those were the two things that they did.
And that was going to be my thing, is to give you a little kickback pick, is I can't let y'all ride with y'all got fleeced by the Colts. I just can't.
What?
Y'all, I can't buy it. Y'all, what I've heard from every fan associated with it's been very few that have realistically said, all right, listen, this is what we got. I think this is with the exception of CWall, honestly, the last time she was on the show, this is what the upside is that we hope based off of this, but that's still also based on the quarterback. Like, y'all were all in on him. I heard everybody saying 11-5, 11-6, we're gonna win the division. Yeah. I've been hearing that. I'm sorry, and for you to say, like, y'all knew what y'all was signing up for.
Wait, hold up, wait.
And everybody kept saying, "Oh, forget about the Colts. Forget about what happened there. It wasn't all on him. It was on the defense." So now we're gonna get on here and say y'all got fleeced by them.
That's two different things.
$28 million. You gladly signed that man to that contract.
Oh, wait.
And wanted to vault him to the number one quarterback in this division. I'm not buying it.
Listen. First off, let's clear the air, because it smells right now of cowboy funk. Listen, there's a difference between winning a trade, right, and getting fleeced. Okay. Yeah. Here's what it sounded like. You ever played Monopoly and you ain't got no money, right? And the only thing you got is some houses on your joint. You ain't got no hotels. You got houses, right? Mm-hmm. And you landed on Boardwalk and that joker sitting with hotels. And they like, you owe me your life. Mm-hmm. And you start making deals, right? Well, let me pay you this on the back end. Well, they was like, okay, well, you're going to eat this salary and I get to land on all of your properties for free for the next 3 years. Right, that's pretty much what happened to us, man. We ate their salary. We switched draft picks with them. Why? We ate $28 million. If we're gonna eat $28 million and we're gonna switch draft picks with you, no. You're gonna eat half of this. Yeah. Look at what Georgia, the Falcons did with Atlanta. Come on, man. The Colts, they was some pimps this year in the offseason, man. They won that. Now you ask me, did Carson Wentz improve our quarterback room? 100% he did, because we had a quarterback that couldn't throw the ball deep to De'Ami Brown, whatever, because he can run one route, catch 12 passes. He has an arm better than Taylor Heineke, right? So, yes, he improved our quarterback room. He's done it before. He's been down, and now this could be his comeback story, and everybody loves a comeback story. Right? Yeah. This could be his comeback story. So, no. But as far as the trade, we got fleeced by the Colts. Now, he does have a revenge tour this year. Oh, he does.
Hold on. How many comeback stories this dude about to get? You know what I'm saying? At some point, you got to call a spade a spade. Oh. I ain't saying right now he going to go out there and be mush, but you can't have too many comeback stories. You know, I'm just being real. If he come out and look like anything like he did with the Colts at the end of the year, that's fleeced. I mean, just put it out there. But if he come back and look like the guy that was in Philadelphia before he got hurt, y'all won. You see what I'm saying?
I really think that Scott Turner got to take some of this heat.
True.
Yeah.
I've been wanting the focus to be on Scott Turner for quite some time because at this point, it doesn't matter who's under center. It all looks the same.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. It all looks the same. Even in preseason, it didn't matter if it was Carson, Taylor, or Sam. It all looked the same.
Mhm.
And that's what has been occurring since he's been here. Now, I want to mention this because this is where Carson will get some. I think he would deserve some grace. Like there has to be some changes on what works for Carson. Like they have to adjust. Remember, I was talking about that a bit on you all show the last time. What's their strengths? So you all may have seen Scott is going to be on the field. He's not going to be on the booth. He's not in the booth. He's on the field.
Mm-hmm.
With Carson, he's with his offense. That's where you need to be. Like you got to be where your players need you to be and what works best for them. My challenge is if the ball can't get into the red zone for a touchdown, this is not something that if that happens with Carson, I'm going to say that's not something that we just started seeing. And I don't want to forget that point because that is something that I've been continuing to see, and it was out there on the preseason as well. I was concerned. Right. It's like, okay, well, it all looks the same to me. Also the point with the 1 year with Carson, they got an insurance policy named Sam Howell. So that's exactly why they did that.
Yes.
Sam, sit in the back, let him learn. Sure, you can play the whole preseason game 3. That's getting you prepped. That's getting you ready. Because then if Carson doesn't work out after this year, you still got a Sam Howell on a rookie contract.
Yep.
True.
Hey, and when you have a team when you have a team a starting quarterback on a rookie contract, look at what the Eagles are doing, man. Look at what the Eagles are doing with Jalen Hurts. They were able to just go get a third cornerback from New Orleans because they have a quarterback on a rookie contract.
Yeah.
Right? Come on now. Russell Wilson won a Super Bowl on a rookie contract with the defense being bolstered, with the secondary being the way that it was. Teams are winning Super Bowls with quarterbacks on rookie contracts. Mm-hmm. Now, the outlier, as everyone knows, is the Rams. But the Rams do not draft. When they get involved in the draft in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round,
exactly right.
Right? They come to the party late because they put all their money and all their stock into proven veterans, and they kick the can down the road. But just like my man said in one of the Avengers, the rent always come due.
Listen, there's gonna be a comeback to reality. That this ain't what you thought it was gonna be, buddy. Okay, this guy is who he is at this point, and I think that's the saddest part is because he was immense with talent before the injury, and then when you couple that with Nick Foles doing what he did, he had every opportunity post Super Bowl for that to be his team, and he didn't do what he was supposed to do for whatever the reason. Then he was given the opportunity to go to a fresh start with a new franchise that was set with just needed a quarterback, so to speak. And what happened? We could blame it on horseshoes and ladders and 4-leaf clovers and all of this fancy stuff, but he still also didn't get the job done. We all know that a franchise is going to rise or fall on the quarterback and who's got the ball in his hands every play. And he didn't make the plays. Now, I'm no rocket scientist, but when your owner's in Nazareth eating on baccarat or baklava bread and living his best life, it's just too much going on. I don't know if this is the best situation for him to go on this comeback tour. Listen, I think it would make the podcast better for sure, because if y'all doing well, then I get to see y'all cheesing until y'all get to run into a real juggernaut. But I don't think that's gonna happen.
Excuse me.
All right, that was a bit much. I was adding on there, but no, seriously though, I don't know. I just don't. I'm not gonna say I don't think you guys don't have a chance, but it's just too much. Is your line gonna hold up? Is certain people gonna not keep, put the ball on the floor? Y'all got rookie receivers. Y'all are injured at linemen. Y'all injured on both sides of the line. It's just, I think we just got to temper ourselves a little bit. That's not speaking as a fan. That's just looking at everything that's going on around you and your franchise.
I mean, it's going to be interesting. That's all I keep saying. I'm like, because at some point, somebody has to. Who's responsible, right? I'm going to go back to the defensive line and all these first round picks on the defensive line, and if they do not perform up to par. Remember in 2020 season when the Commanders, when they did win games, one of the concerns or the comebacks was, okay, but you're doing this against second and third tier quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Right? That was a message in 2020. It was a message for the most part last year as well. I mean, they made some moves against a couple of quarterbacks, but I mean, at some point, the coordinators, I'm one of those coach people. I'm looking at the coaches. Because if I start to see the same issue over and over again, something's got to give.
Right.
And so I think that there needs to be some eyes on the coordinators on both sides of the football for certain. Because I'm telling you, not being able to convert touchdowns in the red zone has been a recurring issue.
Yeah.
Not being able to stop the run is a recurring issue.
Right.
So at some point, coordinators' names got to get called. So that's all.
Yeah.
And you're right on both sides of the ball, because I think it'll be interesting early to see if that defensive coordinator still has the ear of those players, because we know, like I've seen it so many times, they can get a guy out of there however they want to. And all you got to do is not perform. Look, we still going to get paid. They're going to get rid of you before they get rid of me. So I think he's treading on thin ice, but I think it doesn't really matter until you get to the regular season and see how they perform. Guys, I think, your defensive line is going to be your strength. So if you're going, if they're healthy and if they perform to their capabilities. So,
well, hold on. Listen, I feel you saying if you're not performing, they can get you out of there, right? Mm-hmm. And I gotta agree with CWall real fast on something. What she said was you supposed to flash and things looking the same, right? Well, this preseason, one person that I did see flash, one person that I did see from our defensive line was Montez Sweat. But I found myself in that Kansas City game asking the question, where in the world is Deron Payne and John Allen? I saw Montez working his butt off, but I didn't see Deron Payne and John Allen. So now that has me questioning those two, because we know Chase is not back, and we're going to get into Chase here in a little bit too. But Deron Payne hasn't flashed the whole preseason. John Allen hasn't flashed the whole preseason.
Yep.
Well, that goes back. It kind of goes back to what one of our guests said at one time, about some people just want to come there and they would rather just go through the motions and that be it.
Right.
Just to get out there and not get hurt. We ain't saying it's right. Because remember now, you know how I felt about preseason. I was all the way in there about preseason till I got that message.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh, well, it changed the way I looked at it for a minute. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he's not right for not showing up, but I'm saying I understand.
Hey, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But you still, just like we said, if the people above you don't feel like y'all need to scrimmage somebody else, then to get yourself ready, that's on you, because you can't get ready in week one. When you get to week one, it is no longer a dress rehearsal. It is
right.
It's go time.
It's go time, right?
That's why. But to be fair, we don't see him in practice. Like, we don't know what that execution is on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, somebody does.
Well,
I mean,
right to that point. to that point, is Deron looking terrible in practice?
No, against the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You
Okay,
can't.
I got you. I got you. I got you.
You can't see what they really gonna play like when they're in practice.
You know, the Kansas City game. Can't remember. It comes to, and I think I see a comment of right here. And this, I think this person came right when I was talking about the coaching staff. Remember, I made that point. Like the eyes got to be on the coordinators. Has to be on the coordinators this year. Has to be. That's why I keep saying my money. I'm putting. Come on, Ron. Come on. It's year 3. You're talking about your 3-year plan. It's year 3. Then you said we begin in 3. It's 3 more years. I don't know, but I know this is year 3. I can count.
Right.
And so it's just, listen, like I kept saying preseason game 2. And to watch that game with the starters in, and that's when I said, all right, now I'm worried.
Right.
Now I'm worried because there were some things, to you all's point. Yes, Montez Sweat was getting after it. Absolutely. But something's got to give. And I know everybody said, well, that's Patrick Mahomes. Well, I'm always of the mindset that if your goal is to win a Super Bowl, you're going to see a Patrick Mahomes sooner or later.
Right.
Right.
Somewhere.
Yep.
So I'm not saying they had to win the game. Let me be clear. I'm not saying they had to win the game, but just in looking at matchups of first team defense against first team offense, there's cause for concern. And that's what I'm saying. Look at this Jacksonville team totally beefed up their offensive line.
Yep.
Well, we don't get into.
So how's that going to translate? Yeah, absolutely. Yep. No,
we're going to focus on Jacksonville on Thursday.
Think of me, because I might be in the press box praying.
Listen,
I won't be far praying.
But and last thing, to be fair, I kind of rocking with said on that. Especially for a player whose contract year, I might be thinking just get to game 1 in one piece. Because listen, at the end of the day, if he don't perform, he gone anyway.
Hold on. Did we pick up Deron Payne's 5th year?
Not yet.
No, that's right. We haven't picked up his 5th year. So he's really playing with no guarantees. This is literally
that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying it's okay. But let me make it there, because at least I could show and prove when it matters the most. Because if I pull something, tear something, it's over with.
Yep.
Which we had happen.
He was already a disruptor last year for, with all the sideline. That stuff is a smear campaign on yourself. So now it's like, let me just shut up and let me get there. So,
hey, I want to look at one more position on this defense before we flip it to the offense, okay? And I want to speak about Cam Curl. So apparently he had surgery on his thumb, right? And I guess that happened in the Kansas City game. I remember Ronnie Lott played with a pinky that was about to come off, right? And Ronnie Lott said, "It's my pinky, cut it off," right? I'm not putting Cam Curl in the
Thank you.
Ronnie Lott joint, but I think it came out later today that he is going to play. It's regular season. Did we think that he wasn't going to play? I mean,
I know when I saw him what practice was that? It must have been last Wednesday.
Last week.
And when that was probably the first thing I saw was, OMG, what is Cameron Curl doing on the sidelines with the sling on? What's happening? Please, no, because it goes back to the depth.
Right.
And I do think there is a dip in performance if you lose somebody like Cameron Curl.
Right.
At the beginning of the season. But they said it was it's I hate to say just the thumb, but it's his thumb. So it was like, okay, because with his arm and his sling and everything, you don't know what it is. Is it his shoulder? Is it his arm? Like, is this something where it's like, if he if somebody touches it, we done for. But it sounds
Right.
like he's going to play.
Yeah.
I will find out for sure on Wednesday, because Wednesday is the day that the official injury reports has to start coming out.
Yeah, say it'll be all over it.
Reporting on Wednesday.
Man, you gotta. You know, with the defensive players, man, it's a lot different. You know, you better club that thing up, man, and let him go out there. I'm serious. You know, they can wrap that thing up where it's like a shell. That's the good thing about defensive players. Like, hopefully you ain't put in a position to have to get a pick and you just laying wood out there as a safety. But you know, no, this is the real deal, because these guys today, man, it's just a different league. Like, I think the last guy we saw that was like that, besides the Earl Thomas, was his running mate. Was Cam, what was his name?
Yeah, Cam Chancellor.
Cam Chancellor. Those are the last two safety guys that, come hell or high water, they were going to be out there laying wood, covering ground, and it was no excuses. A lot of these guys just don't play like that anymore.
No.
And so, you know, that's why I'm like, it is a cause for concern. You see your safety over there for a thumb with a sling. That don't even make sense. But
yeah, he had I'm sure they had the pictures and the videos and everything. It was a sling. I was like, oh, he had on a hoodie and everything. I was like, oh gosh, this is the beginning of the end. But it's just a thumb, so he's okay.
Yeah,
but it
was a sling because of the fact that he just had surgery.
He had the surgery, so I was
okay, that makes sense.
Looking at it was alarming. Like, oh
yeah,
what in the world? And
so there's one missing person at the middle linebacker position that has been signed that I noticed was missing. That if one of our linebackers goes down, Bostic. We talked about bringing Bostic back, but I don't see him on the depth chart. Is there a reason for that?
I'm not sure, unless they just missed him, because they signed him. He's officially signed, and he was at the welcome home luncheon.
On ESPN. He's on ESPN.
Right.
He's listed on ESPN.
Yeah. He's absolutely
okay.
On the ESPN depth chart, he's listed.
That's weird.
Okay.
It's weird that they don't have him on here.
On
the Washington.
And simply, Britt, I agree with you that they definitely need to be playing as a team, not individuals. But for that to work, everybody collectively has to do their job. So, that stuff goes with everybody knowing their position. So if they can't all play their positions individually, they screwed anyway.
You got her over here throwing up hands.
That is hilarious.
You got her over. Hey, Mama Waller is not in the chat today.
Is she not? I thought she was.
No, I have not seen Mama Waller yet, but Simply Brit Buckeye Nation is here, and she's. I guess she logged.
That is hilarious. Okay.
Yeah, she's over here thumb snapping. Yes. Okay, so let's move to the offensive side of the ball here, and there's one person that did not play at all. Did I go over this already? Trey Turner.
Mm-hmm. No, we didn't do it yet.
Whole preseason, nada. But we have him listed as a starter for our offensive line. At least Andrew Norwell got it into the Baltimore game and got some sweat in. Charles Leno Jr., Monster, Sam Cosmi came back and got in. Sadiq Charles. I think Sadiq Charles put a lot of good work in this year. Mm-hmm. Wes Schweitzer, we know who he is as well. Why is Trey listed as a starter without no work? Are they watching his film from the wrong year?
I guess so, because he's supposed to play. Starter. They trust him. Want him to play. I mean,
I haven't seen much from him either.
That was a very real and raw response. Because
yeah.
I mean, you might as well suit
it's funny because it's like you were.
Hey, man, don't throw me at that.
And it's like Ron being around covering Coach Rivera, he's so matter of fact that everyone I think is so used to there being like some like underlying thing that is meant or underlying, and it's not that. Not with Coach Rivera. Whatever he said, that's what he said, and that's what he meant.
Well, I heard Ant plays guard, and he five something and $130. And don't eat meat.
Hey, I ain't a $130 now.
This goes back. This goes back to the same thing with Deron Payne.
They were very happy for him to be back. They were so happy.
This goes back to the same thing with Deron Payne. You know, you talking about Deron Payne not giving effort, but he out there on the field. This guy not even on the field. He in the start. He in the starting lineup.
All right.
Oh, yeah, but is that one of them is? Now,
I'm just saying. I mean,
he's a
I haven't
Panther.
seen anything from Trey Turner. Like nothing.
Not even that. But it's like if y'all are really thin. I mean, we talking about keeping Carson upright. I mean, was there a prior injury that they spoke of
for Trey?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. He was hurt. But at the same token, remember, you don't have to report on the injury or the severity of the injury during training camp.
Not until tomorrow. Not until tomorrow. Yeah.
Right. So he did not. He was not practicing. He was always on the side field.
I didn't put this into the discussion, but there was no way that we was going to have CWall on here and not talk about this player right here. I think y'all know where I'm going. Brian Robinson, we are lucky to have him, right? Mm-hmm. We're lucky to have him. We all saw the video. He came through. He did his rookie duties and brought his Oreo cookies in. All right. If you look at our running backs on the depth chart, you got Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick, is Brian Robinson still there, and then you got Jonathan Williams. This is an unofficial depth chart, right? With the way that we saw Antonio Gibson play and how hard we saw Jonathan Williams run with every opportunity that he got, is it natural now to say, hey, we don't have Brian, but we still have a sledgehammer and get Jonathan Williams that first team running back reps?
I think Antonio gets his spot back.
You think he does? Well, that's enough for me. That's enough for me. Now,
I mean, you know, I am. That was one of the rooms. I'm not sure if I said it on this show, but I know I've said it, that there was a very strong position.
Yeah, you said that here. Yeah.
Would I choose, Jonathan Williams or Jared Patterson? I did say Jonathan Williams. Like,
right.
That's what, and Jared Patterson is on the practice squad, which is amazing, right? You can't go wrong there. Now that is something that I would like to see if Ron decided to go Jonathan Williams, but I don't think that's what he's going to do. I think Antonio gets his one back.
Okay.
With that, I kind of liked it the way it was. I kind of liked seeing him potentially also at kick return, punt return for certain. He looked really comfortable there. He did it in college. I think they dual purpose him for sure to show the versatility and allow him to try to be as successful as he can. But I do think that he gets that one back.
Okay.
I got a question. So with all the potential that a lot of these players have shown at the running back position, Riverboat talked about how he had a 3 to 4 or 5 year plan in place. Is this the make it or break it year to where if it doesn't work, you scrap him, that coaching staff, some of these players that have showed potential for years that can't put it together, the Gibsons, even the J.D. McKissicks of the world, where it's like people keep saying, oh, he's so talented. But if these guys can't stay healthy and produce consistently, is this the year where it's like maybe we officially say we're starting over and let's see if we can draft and do free agency the right way? Is that over presumptuous of me to ask?
No, it's not at all, because it's always been supposedly this 3-year plan. I think there would be reason to look at your coordinators, although I believe Scott Turner is in for an extension until 2024, I think. But still, you look at your coordinators. I don't think Ron goes anywhere because of the Sam Howell move. It's just something about it. I'm like, okay, well, you got insurance just in case it doesn't work out.
Does it matter how he loses? Does it change no matter?
I think in the absolute worst case scenario that your team has 20 plus injuries like they had the other year, I think if that happens, then okay, he's going to stay. But to that point, like, yeah, the Commanders keep starting over.
Yeah.
There would have to be a change in whether it's in you would have to figure out truly the common denominator in what's happening. Like what's going on? What's going on? What is the thing that hasn't changed that you would need to change in order to get better? Like you have to. I think you would have to. If the team, I'm not going to even say if the team gets to 10, if you get to 10 wins, you're safe. Right. Everybody's safe. Even if you get to 10 wins and don't win a division, I still think everybody.
Yeah, that's definitely progress that I don't think many people
Right, but
saw.
if you like 7 or below,
yeah.
How long has the GM been there?
Ron is the GM.
He's the GM.
No, Marty Herney.
I was gonna say, this is so
Ron and Martin Mayhew.
They're Marty's.
Yeah. Ron and Martin Mayhew work together a lot on that. That's who comes out after the draft and whenever, like when the initial roster came out, Martin Mayhew is with Ron.
Yeah.
And they talk about players and making roster moves and all of that.
So they've been there around the same time?
I think Martin came the year after. Well, yeah, and they have a relationship as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I got to give this to Rio, and Rio's up right now. I got to give this up to Rio right here. Rio asked the question when they had that little fan ask the questions, whatever, and he said, which position was the hardest to evaluate and the toughest to cut? Mm-hmm. And the coach immediately went to linebackers. And I'm gonna call out the linebacker coach because you keep saying coordinators, right? Linebackers coach Steve Russ, right? Mm-hmm. Former player. Your defensive coordinator, linebacker, former player. Your head coach, linebacker, former player. The one position you did not draft in the offseason is the linebacker position. The one position you didn't address in free agency, the linebacker position. So when you turn around and try to evaluate it, that's the garbage you chose. Sam Mills was the first one.
Yeah. Steve,
you're next. I mean, like you ever seen that? Like, you're next. You keep talking. Hey, guess who's next? Because for me, if this defense turns around and it's total garbage and they can't stop anybody on third down, and you come out and you let Trevor Lawrence be 75% on third down come Sunday, we need to have a defensive staff meeting right now, and somebody's not going to be happy at the end of it. Yeah. I just heard London Fletcher say that he was familiar with his linebacker coach when he came here from Buffalo because he think he had him as a head coach, and he said he didn't pull no punches with the defensive staff. Well, I can tell you right now, it's a lot of punches being pulled with our defense because there's no way you let Patrick Mahomes be perfect on third down. You have third and forevers, and they convert with ease, and everybody be safe.
Yeah.
Hey, you already got one scapegoat. You got one scapegoat.
They cannot be safe. They cannot be safe.
Okay, so just for the Commander fans here, just a yes or no. Would you, and I got something after this, but I want to start with this question. So, Lady A, are you surprised if they lose on Sunday?
No.
Whoa.
Hold on. I'm going somewhere. Hold on. I'm going somewhere. CWall?
I know you're going somewhere, but no, I'm not. I wouldn't be.
I'll wait till
okay.
I'll wait.
Okay, pick.
You see what Sad doing crying right now? I'm gonna be all tears.
Yeah, but would you be surprised?
Listen, okay, so this is my thing. If you look at all the stuff that we just talked about, how short they are, how there's a lot of cause for contention in certain positions. We don't know if guys are fully invested or not on the defensive line. We got a major part of your secondary and your safety department that's hurt. Like, you can't be surprised, especially with us thinking that Jacksonville is a sleeper team.
And listen to me.
Only thing I'm saying is week one may not be the time to panic.
No, I told you I'm going to panic. Listen, and this coach has put all his he transferred all of his eggs from the defensive side of the field to the offensive side of the field. Right? Now, if we lose and we score 17, 20 points, I'm going to be upset. You're going to think I got shampoo in my eyes. You're going to think somebody pepper sprayed me. You're going to think that somebody shot me. And I'm going to be terribly upset. But if we go out and we lose, and this is crazy for me to say too, if we lose 50-45, hey, I might be okay, right?
I think you're delusional.
I'm telling you right now. If they go out and we are in an offensive battle, our defense can't stop water, and our offense is keeping pace. I may understand a little bit. I really may understand. Now, am I going to look for some breaking news the following Monday for somebody to be fired? Most definitely.
Yes.
Most definitely. But I'm telling you, Matt, if we have a team come into FedEx Field and beat us named Jacksonville Jaguars, and we score less than 21 points, and there's not an offensive shootout, you can physically record a man breaking down.
You're still focusing on last year with Jacksonville, right?
No, I'm not.
Wait. Let me finish. You kind of focusing on last time. If a Jacksonville team come in and play, this is not the same Jacksonville team. They have built a defense that's going to be of authority.
And
they're not going to give them right. Right? You know what I'm saying?
And
they went on to build the offensive line. You know what I'm saying? They built the offensive line. Matter of fact, they got one of y'all offensive linemen. They built the offensive line to get a dude a chance to throw the ball, which you didn't have last year.
You think that I'm sleeping on Jacksonville being the same broken Jacksonville? I'm not. Trust me, when we focus on Jacksonville on Thursday, you're gonna understand where I'm coming from when I tell you it better be an offensive shootout, right? Because I know what Jacksonville's done. Everybody's screaming that Christian Kirk messed up the market. He messed up the market. He got Terry paid. He got a lot of other wide receivers paid. But Jacksonville, if you look at their offensive roster, they got dudes.
So you would be upset you would be surprised if we lost and we didn't score a lot. That's really what your surprise would be. Not if we lost.
If we don't keep pace. What I saw with the defense.
Okay.
Our defense can't stop a bloody nose. I'm sorry to say it like this, right? Because I push boots, and when we had guys that had bloody noses, we would give them this female hygiene product. We would give them a tampon, tell them shove it up their nose. Our defense can't stop a bloody nose, and you got a closet full of them, and they still running around looking for something else. So yeah, I would be terribly upset. I'll be terribly upset if offensively we don't keep pace.
I can't wait for Sunday.
Man.
Oh, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good.
Say it.
I already made my point that Jacksonville is not gonna be easy out this year.
No.
I ain't saying they're gonna beat everybody, but Jacksonville is not gonna be an easy out for anybody this year. Anybody.
Not at all.
And to speak to something y'all talked about earlier, Simply Britt said the problem is y'all are always starting over. At least I could say in y'all starting over, y'all make splash moves that has even in some instances got y'all an NFC East championship.
Yep.
I can't poo-poo that. Like, well, where we're sticking with the process to the bitter end. Like, we're sticking to we doubled down and gave Zeke an extension. How stupid is that?
Yeah.
We paid Dak after an injury year where he had no cards. Like, we're scared. We're like, and it's the problem with a franchise like ours. We're so scared of seeing a hint of, no, we're really in a rebuild, that we'll pay guys just to stay relevant so we can still keep Papa John's commercials and stupid things that don't equal winning. So at least in you guys' case, like, we haven't had anybody to win an NFC East championship in back-to-back years since 03-04 Philadelphia. So y'all can hate that, but at least I can say in y'all's case, regardless of how retarded y'all's front office is, that at least I can believe that even if y'all got rid of y'all's coach, in the next couple of years, y'all will be in some type of contention based off of what I've seen out of this division. So
This is what I know. Our okay, our cap situation has been terrible, and that Carson Wentz 28 million made it worse because we had to cut players. Candy, you said you was going to answer that question, and then we're going to continue this for a little bit, and we'll let.
Yeah, I do have to go. But I will say this to close out. The Commanders can absolutely not go into week 3 0-2.
Oh,
There you go.
Can't afford it. Can't
There you go.
afford it.
Afford it. I don't think the fan base is going to be able to take it. I'm not even sure currently, and this is just my opinion. This is not. I don't. That's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Even for the team to come back, right? Because we talk about new players and changes that have been made on other teams, but there hasn't been that many changes on this current team, right? The quarterback, yes. We
Right.
still got Taylor Heineke. And I mean, this for the most part, there are some pieces that have switched out, but there's some consistency.
Yep.
So that's really what I have from to sign off on until, of course, the season starts. And if you all want to have me on again, I'm happy to do it.
Most definitely.
But they just cannot go into week 3 0-2. It's going to be really hard to come out of that funk. We know that Ron Rivera, his teams sometimes have a late
season push. That's right.
But this isn't the season for that.
Right. You got to start fast, and we appreciate you for coming on. We definitely will have you back. This is our insider right here. First Spring Podcast Insider CWall. Thank you. We appreciate you.
All right. See you guys.
All
right. See you later. Thank you.
Hey, Ed, you've been sparking some conversation here, man, and we're going to keep this going. But what CWall's talking about, that starts our little mini NFC East run. Week 3, we have Philadelphia. Week 4, we come down to the Cowboys, and that's a Sunday afternoon game. And then we have King Henry arriving back home, and then we have a Thursday night set up with the Chicago Bears. So those are 3 tough back-to-back games right there.
Yeah.
Let's finish this up real fast with our unofficial depth chart here, and we talked about everything but our wide receivers. So as far as our wide receivers go, we have Terry McLaurin starting wide receiver. We have Curtis Samuels, Jahan Dotson, and those second wide receivers are Cam Sims, Dax Milne, and De'Ami Brown. Right, those are the 6 wide receivers. Now, for me, I swear I better see Cam Sims before I see De'Ami Brown, right? But they got him behind Jahan Dotson.
Mm-hmm.
And the rookie, I think, will have more than 12 catches. I think he'll have 12 catches in the first 5 games, first 5 games of the season. I'm talking to you, Lady A. De'Ami Brown, do you think that refresh your depth chart.
Don't
refresh
scare
your
her.
depth chart. There's just a change. Brian Robinson is not on the unofficial depth chart anymore.
Okay.
It's now just 3 running backs: Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick, and Jonathan Williams on there.
Yeah, I see.
You see that?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it makes sense because he's not playing right now. He's not expected to play anytime soon.
So, and John Bostic has just been added to that unofficial depth chart. If you go down to the defensive side of the ball,
right? So
and now we have 3.
They're updating it, fixing it. Thank goodness. Before their deadline, I see John Bostic on here. What were you going to ask?
So I'm asking, do you think that Brian Robinson has something to do with De'Ami Brown making this team?
Of course. And I laugh because during the preseason, you were so adamant about De'Ami Brown getting cut. But I do feel like I said before, I saw him in practices and OTAs, and he did look much better than what you saw in one particular game. Which game was that?
The Baltimore game, he stunk it up.
Yeah, I think that's the Baltimore game was the one that you just were like fed up and you threw your hands up. But they put him behind Terry, so you're gonna see Terry on the field.
Right.
So I really don't feel like you have much to worry about. I feel like he has talent, but he's new. He has some developing to do. Maybe they see more potential in him than you do. Like I said, I've seen him, do better things. But we're not going to see a whole lot of him towards the beginning of the year. Terry's going to be out there.
Now, here's my question to you two right here. If you have a wide receiver that that has 12 catches in his rookie year, does he make your squad the following year?
I was a quarterback.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I don't think you can judge these guys based off of Heineke or anybody before Carson Wentz. I believe this will be the best opportunity to see what these guys are capable of on the field, pending that Carson is locked in and they can give him some time to pitch this ball around properly. Because I believe that this is the best bright spot y'all have is y'all's receiving core by far. So I don't know. Like I also heard people make arguments that De'Ami Brown isn't that bad, but he didn't get as many opportunities.
Right.
And if you're telling me Tyler Heineke can't get the ball down the field to him, how can you really hold that against the guy? I think it's a stunning in his development, honestly. So I believe this will be the year for you to find out what you got in these guys, period.
Well, I'm gonna let Say answer it, and then I'm gonna go back at y'all again, and we can have another conversation.
I mean, we said the same thing. Me and Ann said the same thing. I mean, you're talking about quarterback play. If the quarterback can get the ball downfield and he was open downfield all the time, you can't blame him for that. He's not throwing the ball, ain't catching the ball, according to Tom Brady's wife. He can't throw it and catch it. Anyway,
what was that?
Wow.
Right.
What was that?
Giselle didn't do nothing to you.
According
He
to
just
Tom
let
Brady's
us know
wife.
how petty
you know
he's
I'm not
gonna
a
be
Brady
today.
fan.
Giselle
Boy,
did nothing.
he's throwing underhand, but they'll blow up big.
Wow.
Right.
Tell us
All
how
right.
you really feel.
Yes.
Right.
But really though, and then had you told me he had 40 targets and only had 12 catches, then I'm like,
Yeah.
Hands is suspect. He maybe he don't make the team. But if he got 15 targets, 16 targets, and he caught 12 of them, that's different. If he's wide open running, we see him streaking down the sideline, throwing the ball, and the ball is short. You can't blame the quarterback. You can't blame the wide receiver for that. I'm out here. Give me the ball.
So he played in 15 games.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He started 6 of those games.
How many targets did he get?
They don't have the targets up here.
You can't tell me. I just don't think he was a vocal point. I just don't. And I ain't saying I watched a bunch of Commander football, but I'm just saying you can't tell me he was a focal point like that.
Okay, listen. You're blaming the quarterback, you're saying it's the quarterback's fault for not being able to get him the ball. But please, somebody tell me, with the wide receivers that you see in college, we just had a whole weekend of college football, right? And right now, everybody's saying,
I got what you're looking for. He had 25 targets.
25 targets, 12 catches.
So he called half of what they throw to him.
25 targets.
Now, how many of those didn't make it to him?
Now, hold on.
This is the thing. But see, this is the thing.
With the way the wide receivers come into the game right now, and all the 7-on-7 passing that they do, and all these things that they do, and they immediately effective in college, and they immediately how many freshmen did we see take off this weekend, right? Attacking the ball and things like that. And then you go to the NFL and D-backs can't even touch you. If they breathe on you, you are done. It's a 15-yard penalty, right? But for you to catch half, or that's even less than half, really, because 25 divide 25 by 2.
49%.
That's
Well,
like
if
49%.
you
49%.
wait,
I
wait,
get
wait,
it.
wait, 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 wait. Do
Blame
you
it
really
on the quarterback.
because McLaurin had 130 targets. He only caught 77.
That's still better than half.
That's just a little bit more than half.
Pick,
Not
come
much
on
now.
now.
That's still better.
Pick, listen. It's fine. It's fine if you don't listen. It's fine if you don't like De'Ami Brown. I'd rather you just say that.
I've said it 1,000
He
times.
doesn't like him.
But when you're talking about 130 targets to 25, it's not a fair comparison. And I'll
You
tell
know
you
why
this:
you got 25
can't
targets?
compare. You can't compare 7-on-7 in college to the pros.
But you know what you can compare? You know what you can compare? You can compare a quarterback who's back there in all kinds of chaos for 3 seconds, and you not getting open, and the quarterback knowing that you're not where you're supposed to be, so he turns you down and goes to where the reliable source. You got to make yourself reliable.
Did he have a problem throwing the ball at UNC?
Sam Howell? Are you talking about Sam Howell?
Whoever was throwing
the quarterback that dropped 2 touches, the quarterback that dropped 2 dimes on him, and he came up with 0 of those catches.
Oh man.
So let me say this. In OTAs, I went to 2, and both of those I saw the ball go to number 1 and number 2.
Okay.
Often.
Okay.
And I didn't see either one of them drop a ball.
Okay.
The entire time.
Is
so
it a
I'm just
difference
letting
in
you
how
know what I
number 1
saw.
and number 2 play, though? Is it a difference? Can you see a talent difference between number 1 and number 2? I
mean, one may have been a little faster than the other. That's real. You know, I'm a fan. I remember this, and the reason why I remember this is because I took my dad to one of them, and of course, my dad, he's older. He's a fan, but he's like, who are these people? Who's number 1? Who's number 2? You know, and I'm talking to him, and he saw that both of them were on their game. I also went to a couple of practices. I did not see either one of them drop anything. Like if the ball was in their hands, they're not dropping it. I didn't see them miss anything. So what we saw in the game, I don't know if it was nerves. I don't know. And all the quarterbacks, they had 4 quarterbacks out there throwing to them. Okay.
He ain't trying to hear it.
It was 4 quarterbacks because we still had Cole Kelly at that time. So all 4 of them, and honestly, I take that back. Cole threw 2 towards them, but it just didn't get there, which he got cut. No shade, but I'm just saying. But he just didn't have the arm like the other 3. But there is a quarterback that I'm not that fond of, and I'm not going to say he's the reason why we're looking at these stats the way we're looking at them.
Oh, but listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not a Heineke fan. Listen.
Okay, well then you can understand that.
It sounds like you're too much of a De'Ami hater.
I'm not.
For you not to be a Heineke fan.
He wanted De'Ami to get cut. We can say that.
Listen,
he wanted him to get cut.
Cut the man. I'm telling
you. Cut his camera for a second, just a second, so you put that down.
I believe in, if you can practice that well and catch everything around you, that should translate to the game, right?
Correct.
Now, I'm gonna tell you, it's on tape. Y'all go back and find it. But Ron Rivera is literally telling the secondary to defer to the wide receiver, and then you look at our secondary in a game, and what are they doing? They are deferring to the wide receiver. They let the wide receivers catch the ball, and then they tackle them. So from practice, it's translating to the game for the secondary. But for De'Ami, it's not translating to attack the ball and go secure the catch. So something's missing. There's a disconnect. You can't perform. You're showing me what you are in practice. But then the eye test is, what are you doing on game day? Yeah. And what are you doing when the bullets are really firing and you're not doing what you're doing in practice?
Okay. I got a question for Lady A. Mm-hmm. Based off of what he's saying, do you see him being used the same way in practice as he's being used in live game action? Meaning the routes that he's running,
Right.
the positions that he's putting them in, the defenses that he's seeing, is all of that still looking the same?
Actually, no.
Tell us more.
I mean, in the practice, first of all, the practices that I've seen, they were treated as equals. And it could, that's why I said it could be nerves, because first of all, preseason, everyone knows they could be on the chopping block. So that right there, when they were practicing like OTAs, he wasn't worried about anything. You can tell. But in the games, in the preseason games, maybe he's a little more concerned. As far as the routes are concerned, um, learning a route and then actually playing in a game are two completely different things.
Yeah, it is.
And so in the game, it's we even if it's preseason, it is still go time. You know, the people who are coming at you are not your teammates. The people who are coming at you aren't going to just touch you, or it's none of that. They're going to take you down. So the pressure is different. So I really feel like maybe Diami, it's a pressure thing. I don't think he works well under pressure. And that's why I'm okay with him being behind Terry. If they choose to keep him, he's okay being behind Terry. They can help him. They can, we talk about quarterbacks, and we talk about how they can be developed, but the other positions can be too.
Wide receivers, yeah, you're right.
So I feel
Very
like
good
with
point.
him, he should be, he needs that. And I mean, like I said, the first time we talked about him, one thing I found out that kind of hurt my feelings a little bit was when I looked at his age. I want to say Diami was like born in 2000. He's a baby, and being behind and being behind Terry would be good for him. Being able to learn things from veteran players would be beneficial to him. I mean, let's be real. It's only 2022. All four of us have seen what these kids disrespectfully call the 1900s. He's a baby.
Yeah, I'm spitting on Generation X. Listen,
Well,
I'm gonna tell you, for those of y'all that think that I'm truly hating on him, one of my favorite things to see would be for us to have four wide, and I'm talking Jahan, Terry, Curtis Samuels, and Diami Brown. Now that's a track team right there. That's a track team, and there's no defensive secondary, even with Philly. And I gave Philly their props for picking up a third guy. There's no secondary that can handle that right there across the NFL.
Yeah,
across the NFL, no secondary. Who you're going to double? Because if you put J.D. McKissick or if you put Antonio Gibson behind them, you're taking Logan off the field. But you're telling them I'm about to bump my head on the goalpost right here. So you get your secondary ready, and it's everybody's seen the Water Boy, right? Where old boy lining up for the onside kick, and he's like, where's my, I ain't gonna say the word because it's a family show, but he's like, where's my, there she go right there. That's what it's like. And we're gonna get out of here.
I was just gonna say, I think, but we have to deal with a little bit of reality in the fact that you're not gonna have four guys that are just so supremely elite in any position. Like typically, somebody's gonna have a drop off, and so my only thing is, heck, I ain't no Commander fan, but I do want. I think you can only evaluate a guy based off of the talent that's getting him the ball, and I'm like, was he dealing with this his first year? Like, did he have balls in hand, Pauls, and he dropped them because it was the nerves? Like, we don't know. I think we don't know what the process that he may be going through to get where he's trying to go, but he's not the top guy. He's not the second guy. He's not the third guy. So it's fine, and hopefully you're not put in a position where he's not performing and he has to start or something like that. But I think when you talk about doing some four wide type of situation, let's see what happens when he's got Carson back there wheeling and dealing, and maybe they're reaching their potential. So
Right.
that's all I'm saying.
Because from what I looked up, if I remember correctly, what I looked up, McLaurin was only a little more than half, 50% in catches his first year, just a little more than 50%, if I remember correctly. I have to go back and look up the targets, but in his first year, he was a little more than 50%.
But in his first year, also we knew he was a player.
Still his first year.
In his first year,
But
who was throwing him the ball?
it wasn't.
Who was throwing him the ball?
Case Keenum.
It still was his first year.
Case Keenum is a solid guy, though. Better than Heineke.
Case Keenum was throwing him the ball. In his first game, in Terry's first game, we knew he was a dog. Ask Philly.
Hey,
Ask
it's
Philly.
still his first year, man.
Ask Philly. And
It's still his first year.
De'Ami's first game, we
You
was
can't
like,
tell him nothing, man.
It's still his first year.
Hey,
I mean, poor De'Ami. I don't know what he did.
hey, my guys, the OG.
Did he not sign you a running back? Did he not sign your ball?
He had 93 targets and 58 receptions his first year.
De'Ami.
How many? What was that again?
McLaurin had 93 targets and 58 receptions his first year.
Hey,
that ain't special.
and
little,
I think
little more than
and I think-
50%.
That ain't blowing nobody's doors off.
Hey, in his first year also, too, in his first year, we had Case Keenum. He had Case Keenum as a quarterback. He had Dwayne Haskins as a quarterback in his first year. He had, was it Allen that he had as a quarterback? He had 3 quarterbacks in his first year.
But, okay, first of all, his targets, the fact that he had so many.
That means that he's a dog.
Well,
who else was on the receiving core at that time?
It don't matter.
Exactly. No, it does
don't
matter.
He saw DBs and he was like, I'm about to catch this ball, and he caught it.
Goodness.
Come on, OGs from the DMV. Tell
you know
these,
they're
man.
like the same size.
Who? And is shorter than Terry.
You wore McLaurin
Yeah,
underwear at night.
no, I'm talking about De'Ami Brown. What?
Well, he's been a real live
nice.
hitter.
Who is shady today?
Do you sleep in
I'm
his
not
jersey?
being
Do you
shady.
sleep in his jersey at night?
No, listen, let me get out of here, man. Listen, hey, y'all know we call it an OG Classic because we get in, we get out. Make sure y'all tune in on Thursday when we break down the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then catch us Saturday when we give you all the picks for the NFL, man. We appreciate y'all for sticking with us. Yeah, you saw what he said, right? You saw what he said.
I put it up there. I get it.
All right, got you. All right. So y'all know, man. We call it an OG Classic. Thank y'all for joining us again, man. Hey, we'll see y'all Thursday. We out. Hey, tell them.
Go Dogs.
Yeah, hopefully Pickens in a better mood on Thursday.